anything. Routine dental checkups every year for brighter smiles. Support that lasts for as long as it takes. Feeling your best every day starts today. Call or go online now for your quote.
In our February draws, players in one winning postcode will each win £12,000 every month for 12 months. Sign up before midnight on the 31st of January.
Next years, because your brain really matters.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the World Report. I am Arjun Samar Mahindran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. In a scathing rebuke, India's Ministry of External Affairs has rejected Canada's Foreign Interference Commission report, which paints India as the second most active country in foreign electoral meddling after China. Now, New Delhi fired back, turning the tables and accusing Canada of chronic interference in India's internal affairs, creating a breeding ground, in fact, for illegal migration and organized crime. While the initial Canadian report from May 2023 identified China as the most sophisticated foreign interference threat to the country, the final report claims India had followed suit, engaging through diplomatic channels and proxies. However, New Delhi clearly isn't buying China's smoke and mirrors act anymore. The Stampede injured dozens of people early Wednesday as tens of thousands of Hindus rushed to take a holy bath in the river at the massive Mahakumbh festival underway in North India's Prayagraj. Images from the scene in the city of Prayagraj showed rescuers helping injured as the police tried to manage the massive crowds. It was not immediately clear what triggered the panic at the festival, where devotees had congregated from across the world to bathe at the confluence of the Ganges, the Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers. News agency Press Trust of India cited authorities who said injured was sent to a hospital. The Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, has marked its 100th launch by putting a navigation satellite into space on Wednesday. The latest rocket launched into dark skies at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh's Sriharikota, using the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, or the GSLV F-15. The rocket powered into the early morning skies, putting the second NBS-02 navigation satellite into orbit. Once fully operational, the navigation with Indian Constellation, or NAV-IC, will work alongside other Indian navigation systems already in orbit to provide more accurate position, velocity, and even timing services to India and its neighboring regions, the ISRO has said in a statement. Trains were cancelled across Bangladesh as railway staff went on strike for higher pensions and other benefits. Now, this affected tens of thousands of passengers and freight transport. Saidur Rahman, the acting president of the Bangladesh Railway Running Staff and Workers Union, said the strike was called after a meeting, in fact, with the interim government headed by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus, failed to reach a deal late Monday. Now, Rahman said the strike would continue indefinitely if the government does not accept their demands. The state-run railway system carries some 65 million passengers per year in a densely populated nation of 170 million people. Moreover, it employs around 25,000 people and operates a network of over 36,000 kilometers. In a bold diplomatic move, US President Donald Trump has invited Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to meet at the White House next week. Now, the invitation, the first of its kind during Trump's second term, is scheduled for the 4th of February, although some details are still up in the air. Now, this is according to White House sources. The meeting is set to address key regional issues. This includes the volatile ceasefire deal with Hamas, which Trump's envoy Stephen Witkoff has been pushing for Netanyahu, who faces mounting pressure from the far right, in fact, of his coalition to resume fighting with the militant group. He is expected to discuss his position on continuing the war and other thorny matters. such as relations with Iran and even Saudi Arabia. Drone footage showed the destruction of buildings in Gaza City's Tel Al-Hawa neighborhood, where thousands have arrived for the first time since Monday after more than 15 months of ongoing war. Crowds of displaced Palestinians made the arduous journey back to heavily destroyed northern Gaza for a second day on Tuesday under a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The United Nations says that more than 375,000 Palestinians have returned to the north since Israel started letting them on Monday. Meanwhile, families are walking for hours along a seaside road with whatever belongings and food they can carry. The first official Russian delegation to visit Syria since the toppling of the long-term Moscow ally Bashar al-Assad arrived in Damascus on Tuesday. Now, the visit comes as Moscow is keen to secure the fate of 2 military bases in the country, and after Russian President Vladimir Putin in fact denied that Moscow had suffered a strategic defeat in West Asia following the fall of Assad. The Russian delegation, which is due to meet the new leadership of the war-ravaged country, includes Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov, Putin's special envoy to the Middle East and Africa, as well as Alexander Lavrov, the president's special envoy on Syria, RIA Novosti reported. Moscow was one of Assad's key backers, intervening in Syria's civil war in 2015 in his favor. A federal judge has temporarily blocked a push from President Donald Trump to pause federal funding. This while his administration conducts an across-the-board ideological review to uproot progressive initiatives. That's right. The Trump administration plan plunged the U.S. government and states and organizations that rely on federal funding into panic and confusion and set the stage for a constitutional clash over the control of taxpayer money. The order from U.S. District Judge Lunar Ali Khan came minutes before the funding freeze was scheduled to go into effect. Meanwhile, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz harshly stamped President Donald Trump for funding freeze, while Attorney General Keith Ellison said he would be joining with other Democratic Attorney Generals in suing, in fact, for an injunction to block the president's action. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the freeze on federal grants and loans that could total trillions of U.S. dollars. In fact, U.S. Judge Lunar Ali Khan blocked the action on Tuesday afternoon, minutes before it was set to go into effect. The administrative stay pauses the freeze until Monday. For now, Walz, who was Kamala Harris's running mate in the 2024 election, said Trump did not get a mandate for such draconian action. Listen in.
Donald Trump's reckless action cut off funding to law enforcement, farmers, schools, childcare, veterans, and healthcare. While he was out golfing, he threw the country into crisis. This is not bold. It's not leadership. It's stupid, buffoonish, childish of exactly what they did. Childcare providers across the state, law enforcement, our prisons, things that we count on, individuals on Medicare, things that we know matter to people's lives.
Dead bodies lay on the streets and explosions and gunfire echoed across the largest city in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, on Tuesday. This as fighting continued to rage between the army and Rwanda's M23 rebels. Residents reported continuing gun and mortar fire in Goma, the capital of North Kivu province and a regional humanitarian hub for displaced people, after M23 fighters entered the city on Sunday. At least 100 people have been killed and more than 1,000 wounded in 3 days of heavy fighting, which has already exacerbated the humanitarian crisis in the province. In fact, hospitals were overwhelmed by patients with gunshots and shrapnel wounds, UN and other aid agencies said on Tuesday. The first flights carrying migrants deported from the United States to Colombia after a major diplomatic row have arrived in the capital, Bogota. The Colombian government confirmed on Tuesday that 2 planes carrying migrants had indeed landed. A total of 201 migrants, 110 sent from California and the remaining 90 from Texas, were on board. An Italian Navy ship arrived Tuesday in Albania with 49 migrants intercepted in the international waters for processing of their asylum applications at the special Albanian centers, in the third such attempt, in fact, following hurdles earlier raised by Italian courts. Italy's Interior Ministry did not specify the nationality of the migrants brought to the port of Shenzhen, 66 kilometers northwest of the capital Tirana. But Italian media, however, said they were from Bangladesh, Egypt, Ivory Coast and Gambia. Local media reported that 5 of the migrants, 2 Bangladeshis, 2 Gambians and an Ivorian, would be taken to Italy because 4 of them were minors and the 5th a quote-unquote vulnerable person, without giving more details. Migrants in Mexico who were hoping to go to the US were adjusting to a new reality. This after President Donald Trump began a border crackdown last week. Many asylum seekers waited on Tuesday outside the office of the Mexican Commission for Refugee Aid in Mexico City, in fact, hoping to regularize their status to be able to remain in the country. Now, Trump took office on the 20th of January and signed a series of executive orders to, in fact, beef up border security and slash migration. One ended the use of CBP, one app that has allowed nearly 1 million people, mainly seeking asylum, to legally enter the US since January 2023.
Quiere hacer tramitido para ver si tiene documento para entrar familia aquí, trabajar aquí, viviendo aquí, comprar casa aquí para viviendo.
The Oklahoma State Board of Education voted Tuesday to approve a proposal requiring parents to report their immigration or citizenship status while enrolling their children in school. Now, the board discussed the proposal for about 20 minutes before approving it and other proposals in a 6-0 vote. The proposal still needs to be approved by the legislature and the governor to take effect. This is per state administrative rules. Malaysia's Chinese community celebrated the Lunar New Year with prayers at various temples in the capital of Kuala Lumpur. Part of the celebration included firecrackers and lion dancers with drums cheering crowds and devotees alike. Packed scenes at the Guandi Temple near Kuala Lumpur's Chinatown saw people visiting temples and enjoying performances. The celebrations mark the Year of the Snake, according to traditional Chinese zodiac calendar. People anxious to see what had become of their properties after the Palisades fire ignited 3 weeks ago waited in their cars for hours for permission to return after officials lifted, in fact, the last remaining evacuation orders. A line of vehicles snaked along the Pacific Coast Highway as motorists inched into a beachside parking lot in Santa Monica. This is where they had to show ID to receive a permit that allowed them to drive into the burn zone. They have to be out of the area by nightfall because a curfew still remains in effect. In fact, officials began letting residents of select areas return starting last week, but only with a police escort. On Monday afternoon, the city lifted all remaining evacuation orders and dropped the escort requirement.
It's nice, it's hard to sort of, look at this, but it's nice to find those little things that at one point didn't mean so much. Plates are plates, but now they're, a memory to sort of look back on and see the house and where we were for my whole life.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a new private sector initiative called LA Rises. Now, this to aid in the recovery from the Los Angeles wildfires. The initiative, supported by leaders like Dodgers chairman Mark Walter and Magic Johnson, aims to rebuild affected communities, including Altadena, Pasadena, and Pacific Palisades. The Mark Walter Family Foundation and the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation, in fact, have pledged $100 million to kickstart the effort, with additional funds coming from private donations. LA Rises will pool resources from the private sector alongside state and federal support to, in fact, expedite recovery. It's time we slip into a short break now. I'll see you on the other side.
Time's up, fad diets. Life's too short to only eat grapefruit, hard-boiled eggs, cabbage soup. Ugh. Ditch the diet shakes, measuring tapes, and vibrating plates. And break free from fad diets with Voi. With its combination of clinically proven medication, personalised health app, and one-to-one coaching, join the weight loss revolution today at joinvoi.com.
like to think ahead. Make sure I've got all the right tools for the job.
And now that I've turned 50, it means looking after what I've built. I'll be retiring down the line, and with the mortgage nearly done, I want to make sure that my lot will be protected if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler and can be done in just a few minutes. Go online or talk to one of their friendly UK team who will chat you through your options in just one phone call. And their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor. With fixed monthly payments, prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4322 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Welcome back. You're watching The World Report on NDTV. After Coldplay's biggest concert ever at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, with over 1 lakh footfall on the 26th of January, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday said India has a scope of live concerts. Addressing the Utkarsh Odisha conclave in Bhubaneswar, PM Modi underscored the vast potential of India's concert economy. He called on states and the private sector to focus on building the infrastructure for the concert economy. Boeing on Tuesday reported an annual loss of $11.83 billion, its largest since 2020. Now this as it grapples with problems at its commercial and defense units and the fallout from a crippling strike by US West Coast factory workers. The loss demonstrates the challenges facing CEO Kelly Ortberg in turning around the plane maker as it cedes more ground control to rival Airbus in the delivery race, and even comes under the crosshairs of regulators and customers alike following a series of missteps. Google's Maps division has reclassified the US as a sensitive country, a designation it reserves for the states with strict governments and border disputes. As per reports, the new classification for the US came after President Donald Trump said his administration would in fact make name changes on official maps in federal communications. Those changes include renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America and renaming Mount Denali as Mount McKinley. Google's order to stop designating the US as a non-sensitive country came on Monday. Now, this is according to an internal correspondence as per reports. 200 UK companies have signed up for a permanent 4-day working week for all their employees with no loss of pay, in the latest landmark in the campaign to reinvent Britain's working week. Together, the companies employ more than 5,000 people, with charities, marketing and technology firms among the best represented. This is according to the latest update from the 4-day week foundation. Proponents of the 4-day week say that the 5-day pattern is in fact a hangover from an earlier economic age. Joe Ryle, the foundation's campaign director, said that 9 to 5, a 5-day working week was invented 100 years ago and is no longer fit for purpose. In fact, we are long overdue an update, he said. International Cricket Council CEO Geoff Allardyce has decided to step down just weeks before the Champions Trophy, with a board member indicating that his failure to present a clear picture of host Pakistan's Lack of preparedness is one of the multiple reasons behind the move. The 57-year-old joined the ICC in 2012 as General Manager of Cricket, coming from Cricket Australia, where he served as Cricket Operations Manager. He was appointed CEO of the ICC in November 2021, after having served as acting CEO for 8 months. The 7-time champion and teammate Charles Leclerc both drove a 2023 F1 Ferrari car at the home of the Spanish Grand Prix on Tuesday. Hamilton is building his experience with Ferrari following his initial acclimatization run at the Fiorano test track in Italy last week. The teams are doing everything they can to ensure Hamilton is as prepared as possible for the new season after 12 years, in fact, with Mercedes. Hamilton is learning Ferrari's procedures and building his working methods with the new race engineer Riccardo Adami as driver, and team learn how best to work with others. Cricketer Firuza Amiri says her team will represent millions of women in Afghanistan who are denied their rights when the side reunites after more than 3 years, in fact, for an exhibition game in Australia on Thursday. The Afghanistan Women's 11 will play a Cricket Without Borders 11 in the match at Melbourne's Junction Oval. It will bring together 21 female players who were formally contracted by the Afghanistan Cricket Board before, in fact, the Taliban regime retook control in 2021. Since fleeing Afghanistan, the women cricketers banned from playing in their home country have been based in Canberra and Melbourne and are playing for various clubs and teams in local competitions. A new docuseries, The Fall of Diddy, hopes to provide viewers and fans of Sean P. Diddy Combs with a look at how he went from one of the most respected figures in music to currently being held in New York for a slew of charges currently without bail. According to a press release from Investigation Discovery, the docuseries produced by Maxine Productions and Rolling Stone Films, in fact, rapper A$AP Rocky has finished court for the day after Tuesday's testimony. He looked upbeat and waved off to onlookers as he walked with security to his waiting vehicle. Rocky's accuser, meanwhile, a former friend and the key witness, testified that their relationship had long been tense and came to a head in the days before Rocky is alleged to have fired a handgun at him. Rocky, the rapper and partner of Rihanna, has pleaded not guilty to 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm for allegedly firing at the friend who goes by A$AP Relly. He's famous, Relly told the jury, "I am nobody." 2 of the most powerful names in showbiz today, Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon, are calling for more productions to be filmed in Los Angeles to help the city's economy after the devastating wildfires this month. Now, the actors are promoting their new comedy film, You're Cordially Invited, about 2 families that book a wedding at the same venue on the same day.
Yeah, I think it's important that productions that are in California, that we keep them there, we keep our business going and thriving, and we want to make sure people are staying employed and having the benefits that they are used to, and it's a devastating time.
It would be amazing. It'd be a moment where the state of California could make a across-the-board tax credit as opposed to a lottery system. This would be the time.
The 48th Kolkata International Book Fair, one of the world's largest book fairs in terms of footfall, is underway in the Garden City. With Germany being the theme country this year, the German ambassador, in fact, to India and Bhutan, Philip Ackerman, described the Kolkata Book Fair as the Kumbh Mela, Bengali style, and spoke to NDTV on this partnership. Listen in to this exclusive conversation with the German envoy.
Sir, you made a statement that many believe that was the best description the Kolkata Book Fair could have ever had. You said it's the Kumbh Mela Bengali style. Tell me why you feel so.
Well, I think Kolkata and Bengal are the cultural and artistic heart of India, and I think there is no better place for such a book fair. And you see, you have over 2 million visitors, so it's really a big mela. I mean, there are very many people, and that shows the interest that people in West Bengal and elsewhere have in books. And Kolkata Book Fair is a household name. It's the 48th edition. I'm very impressed by the sheer size and the dedication. We have heard the Chief Minister speaking during the inauguration ceremony, and I think it is an event that is dear to the heart of Bengali. So it's a Kumbh Mela in a way.
And we spoke you touched upon, and the Chief Minister touched upon the specific sort of cultural and literary ties between India and Germany. And, the examples of authors and, the inspiration that our authors have taken from Germany and vice versa. Tell us a little bit about that. What stands out for you in terms of this collaboration at the book fair?
So I think Indo-German roots when it comes to culture go back to the 19th century, where Max Müller, the famous Max Müller, started to translate the Rig Ved and interpret it and explain it to the public in the West. But through the ages, we have a very, very rich Indology, also with non-Hindi language like Kannada or Malayalam, and you have a very, very strong German interest in these parts of the country and strong researchers at German universities. But what we see here now is more than that. It's not only the tradition, it's the modern, the open-minded Germany. And what the Goethe-Institut Max Müller did here in this pavilion was basically showcasing that Germany is much more than Max Müller, although it's very important, but we have a very modern, diverse, extremely vibrant and colorful Germany to show.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful day.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
Liam transferred all his outstanding balances to his Barclay card, giving him 0% interest on all his surprises for Sarah. What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Barclay card. Make money work for you.
Don't you have Watchdog Lock? No! What's that? Don't be a victim, yeah. Get Watchdogs, 3-star solid secure diamond locks. They are anti-pick, anti-snap, anti-bar. बोले तो fully anti-chore. जब तक जोड़ेंगे नहीं, तब तक छोड़ेंगे.
You could save money on your energy, broadband and mobile bills and feel more protected when you switch to a better deal. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
What they don't tell you about getting older is how much fun it can be. Enjoying all the things you've worked so hard for. Spending time with the people that really matter.
To a reel of my own movie, Shrikant. Without a further ado, with great admiration, love and due respect, the best actor of the year goes to Shri Rajkumar Rao. Please come on to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rajkumar Rao's versatility, dedication to meaningful cinema, and consistent delivery of powerful performances continued in 2024. His recent roles in Shrikant, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Stree 2, and Wiki Vidya Ka Wo Wala video showcases his deep commitment to his craft, often transforming himself physically and emotionally to suit the character's demands, making Rajkumar Rao the NDTV actor of 2024.
जोरदार तालियां राजकुमार के लिए. भाई हम सबके दिलों के राजकुमार भी तो हैं ये. राजकुमार, आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे हम 2024 मेरे ख्याल से आपके जीवन का सबसे सुनहरा साल आप इसको मानेंगे?
Well, definitely. First of all, thank you so much, NDTV. Thank you, sir. Thank you, jury. Thank you, Shrikant, the real Shrikant, for giving us your life story and for giving me this opportunity to play you on screen, because it was one of the most challenging parts. But I had so much fun because when there are challenges, then only it's fun. Otherwise, it gets very monotonous, very boring.
आपने तो अपॉर्चुनिटी छीन लिया, नहीं तो मैं खुद प्ले करता था यार.
नहीं, प्लीज कुछ काम हमें भी करने दो. आप सब कुछ करोगे तो फिर हम क्या करेंगे?
नहीं सीक्वल 2 में हम दोनों लड़ेंगे। किसको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा, किसका लुक बेटर होगा देखेंगे ना।
Done. But yeah, 2024 बहुत ही अच्छा रहा. I think God has been really kind. This is my second Indian of the year. I received it in 2017 because that was also a fabulous year. But I want every year to be a fabulous year for our cinema, for our stories. I wish कि हम लोग अच्छी कहानियाँ कहें, अच्छा content बनाएं.
Let's get to the latest as far as Delhi elections are concerned and the war of words that continues between the Aam Aadmi Party and the centre. It's the BJP. Do remember that Arvind Kejriwal has accused the Haryana government of putting poison in the water that's being supplied to the national capital. And amid the Yamuna water pollution face-off, it's Prime Minister Modi today hitting out at the Aam Aadmi Party, calling their claims as disgusting and saying that the Aam Aadmi Party had asked for votes on the Yamuna, but now they're being shameful about it. He said that the Aam Aadmi Party has sinned for political gains and history will never forgive them. Arvind Kejriwal had claimed that the BJP has continued to mix poison in the water supply, and that is just before the elections, and so that the Aam Aadmi Party gets blamed and takes the flak for it.
देश नहीं भूल सकता, दिल्ली नहीं भूल सकता, हरियाणा का एक एक बच्चा नहीं भूल सकता। दिल्ली के एक पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री ने हरियाणा के लोगों पर घिनौने आरोप लगा दिए हैं। हार के डर से आपदा वाले बौखला गए हैं। आप बताइए, हरियाणा के लोग दिल्ली से अलग है क्या? क्या हरियाणा वालों के परिवार, बाल बच्चे, नाते रिश्तेदार दिल्ली में नहीं रहते क्या? क्या हरियाणा के लोग अपने ही बच्चों के पानी में जहर मिला सकते हैं क्या? हरियाणा का भेजा यही पानी दिल्ली में रहने वाला हर कोई पीता है। पिछले 11 साल से ये प्रधानमंत्री भी वही पानी पीता है।
My colleague Tanushka joining us on the phone line to get more on this. Tanushka, the war of words that continues, and this really comes at a time when Arvind Kejriwal has been given a deadline by the Election Commission of 8 p.m. today in order to substantiate those claims that are being made by the Aam Aadmi Party of the BJP-led states joining Delhi for poisoning the water that's being supplied to Delhiites here in the national capital.
Precisely, Divya, some really hard-hitting words and a sharp attack onto the Aam Aadmi Party by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi here at his public meeting rally in Delhi, wherein he's, of course, started his part of campaigning as well for the Delhi Assembly elections, and he has very directly hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that, 5 February aayegi, aapda jayegi, and BJP aayegi. So they've said that the BJP is going to work for the people, and of course bringing up this whole issue of the toxic water being sent from Haryana. Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal has claimed that Haryana BJP is poisoning the water and sending it to Delhi, to which Prime Minister Narendra Modi responds that how is it that, Haryana BJP is poisoning the same water that not just the people of Delhi are drinking, but also he has been drinking for the past 11 years, and has directly urged the people of Delhi to vote for the BJP, which is a government of record performance, and has also said that the BJP promises to give the people of Delhi clean water. He says that it is shameful that the Aam Aadmi Party has asked for votes on the basis of Yamuna Ji. The river is also, worshipped in Hindu traditions. And now they are, making such claims about the water being deliberately polluted and poisoned by Haryana.
Right, Tanushka. So, of course, that deadline that's been given to Arvind Kejriwal in order to substantiate the claims that are being made, and of course, the Prime Minister there coming down heavily on the Aam Aadmi Party for calling their claims as disgusting and saying that the Aam Aadmi Party has asked for votes on the Yamuna, but now they are being shameless about it, saying that the Aam Aadmi Party has sinned for political gains and history will never forgive them. Let's just get you more news, and this is in regard to the attack as far as Saif Ali Khan is concerned. The attacker now, do remember that his custody with the Mumbai police was coming to an end today, and which is when now that, extension has been sought, an extension of his police custody, revealing that Islam had conducted a recce of the residence of the actor before the attack and was being probed for potential help in illegally entering the country. Now, the magistrate, noting that Islam had already been in custody for 10 days, found no new grounds for extension. Do remember that he was arrested on the 19th of this month in Thane, allegedly for attacking the actor during that failed robbery attempt. So this comes really at a time where the Mumbai police is coming out and saying that they have no reasons to doubt that this is the man behind the attack. This is, there were so many claims being made, conspiracy theories that have been floated around in regard to the fingerprints not matching and amongst others. Now, let's just listen into what the lawyer really had to say.
Judicial custody has been given on the ground that there is no ground has been shown for the police custody. There has no ground for the investigation for related to the accused. For the accused presence and custody is required. Therefore, judicial custody has been granted. आगे हम लोग बेल का प्रोसेस करेंगे. वकालतनामा में मैंने 2 वकालतनामा में accuse का साइन लिया है. accuse को सारी इंटीमेशन दे दी गई है कि आज उसके साथ क्या हुआ है, उसको जुडिशियल कस्टडी में कैसा रहना है, और हम आगे जैसे बेल फाइल करेंगे और उसमें हमारा सारे डिफेंस हम लोग लेंगे कि किस तरह से पुलिस ने क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन में आया है. जो लीलावती हॉस्पिटल में जैसे उनको एडमिशन के वक्त लेट एंट्री की गई है, वो एक मिस्टेक है. एक्सा ब्लेड और नाइफ का डिफरेंस है. 100 नंबर पे कॉल किया गया नहीं है, वो भी एक डिफरेंस है.
Right, so in the Saif Ali Khan attack case, as far as the actor is concerned, this is in regard to the attacker. Now, today what really happened in the local court was that the court has refused to grant further police custody of the Bangladeshi national Mohammad Islam Shehzad, accused of stabbing Bollywood actor Saif Ali Khan. Do remember that he had sustained multiple wounds and injuries in that attack that took place. He had, reached the residence of the actor, but he has been in the custody since, from what we do know, that the attack took place on the 16th of January and the attacker has been in the custody of Mumbai police since the 19th of January. But now what the court has done is that they have granted remand as far as the attacker is concerned. So he has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody, but not the police custody is what we are hearing. Do remember that he was produced before the local court with heavy police presence and protection, and while really moving the remand application seeking further custody, the police said that there had been considerable progress as far as the case is concerned, and further custodial interrogation of the accused was necessary in order to recover additional evidence, while claiming that they really do have the right person and debunking those conspiracy theories that have been floating around. And at the same time, on the other side, we have the actor and his wife coming out and making a statement. The PR manager has come and said that what the actors really want is that the media should not photograph their children here on. We have Anuj joining us. Anuj, take us through the proceedings in court and what really is going to happen going forward with the case.
It was a very important day for this case as the second police custody of the accused, Mohammad Shariful Islam, ended today. And right since the beginning of the court proceeding, the judge was very clear about how the court tilted in favor of giving an MCR or a judicial custody to the accused rather than extending a police custody, which has already been given for as long as 10 days. And the police had a few arguments. The police did talk about how they still want to establish a clearer link about how many people exactly came in India with him. A team of Mumbai police is currently in West Bengal trying and understanding what was the accused up to when he was staying there for the first month before coming to Mumbai in September 2024. The police also talked about how they need to understand from where did the accused procure the weapon that he eventually used for this crime, and this along with several other things. However, the court was of the belief that all these questions can be answered even through judicial custody, and if in case any substantial detail do come out, as far as the team in Kolkata is concerned, the court wouldn't really, wouldn't really think much before giving a police custody, given that the details which will come from the team are important enough. We also talked to the lawyer of the accused to talk about how there are multiple loopholes in this case, right? Ranging, or rather starting from how the admission time in the hospital is different from statement to what it is written in the records, to about how there has been a lot of inconsistency between statements given by Karina, Saif, or even the maid, according to the lawyer of the accused. We also talked about how the weapon which was told or which was written in the statement, is different from the weapon which the police talked about. That is a knife. That the police talked about unearthing in their investigation. And hence they consider the judicial custody as a major victory. Now the accused lawyer will be trying or appealing for a bail application in the next 3 or 4 days in the Sessions Court. And one shall know what are the arguments or what are the positions that they put forth while asking for a bail. But as of now, the police custody of the accused has ended, and he's been sent to a 14-day judicial custody, out of which 10 days are already done.
Right, Anuj, we will keep tracking the story and coming back to you for more on that. With that, we're slipping to a very short break. Back with a whole lot more on the other side.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Goldbank London, your #1 place for buying and selling gold. Visit goldbank.co.uk or call 0203 500 1111.
Sign up and start saving with Quidco today. Cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco.
Who doesn't love a good deal? Meal deals. Be rude not to deals. Seal deals? Or a bit of deal or no deal? We've got free-to-play deals with no deposit required. And up to £1,000 to be won every day. Get that good deal feeling only at Tombola.
Our first year as a family flew by. And now, I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote for family life insurance.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
That's great.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
And with our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0808 141 5855 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news, from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Let's just get to the latest in a very big development. The Supreme Court has asked for data on FIRs filed in cases of triple talaq in the country. The Chief Justice of India says no one can say triple talaq is legal, but the question before law is whether triple talaq can be criminalized. Well, this is what was really said in court today, that this law is required to protect the women and should be a deterrent, is what the Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, has said, while asking the centre that if divorce itself is not recognised, the relationship then continues and no separation. But now you have penalised the very act of pronouncing it. So all FIRs are centralised, and what is really being demanded is how many cases are pending, and if any challenge is there as far as the courts are concerned, what kind of challenges are the courts facing? That is what really has been asked in court today.
Basic objection is about the scheme of the legislation, in which number one is relatable to aspect of criminality attached with utterance of 3 times talaq, which is not found for any other community. Second is about custody of children, because the marriage still continues, subsists, but even then the custody goes with women. Third is that anybody can make complaint and police can come and arrest the person concerned, register FIR, continue with criminal proceedings. So the very scheme of this small legislation is disturbing. So the entire scheme is under challenge.
And switching tracks, now the Joint Committee of Parliament, the JPC, has accepted the Waqf draft report with 14 votes against 11. The opposition members have been asked to submit their dissent notes by 4 o'clock this evening. The Waqf meeting has ended in the national capital today, with the opposition MPs, some of whom have been given their dissent. Now, they slammed the exercise as undemocratic, claiming that they were given the little time that they were in order to study the final report and frame their dissent notes.
आज की बैठक में मैं सभी अपने जेपीसी मेंबर्स को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जिस तरह से इस ज्वाइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी ऑन वक्फ जो स्पीकर साहब ने हमें मैंडेट दिया था, उसमें वाकई सभी ने पिछले 6 महीने से लगातार बैठकों में साथ दिया। बैठकों में डिटेल डेलिब्रेशंस हुआ, डिस्कशंस हुआ, और डिस्कशंस के बाद आज फाइनली आज जो जेपीसी की ड्राफ्ट रिपोर्ट थी और जेपीसी का जो क्लॉज बाय क्लॉज जो हम लोगों ने 27 तारीख को हमारे 14 क्लॉजेज में अमेंडमेंट्स हुए थे, उसका एक अमेंडेड जो बिल था, दोनों को मेजॉरिटी के साथ अडॉप्ट किया।
Well, the JPC committee today has met and it has accepted the report and also the revised copy of the bill. Joining me now is Shiv Sena MP Naresh Maske. Mr. Maske, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Sir, आज की मीटिंग कैसी रही? रिपोर्ट एक्सेप्ट हो गया है, लेकिन ऑपोजिशन मेंबर्स कह रहे हैं कि डिसेंट नोट्स देंगे। आगे की क्या प्रक्रिया रहेगी?
देखो, डिसेंट नोट तो उन्होंने आज ही देनी चाहिए थी, लेकिन उन्होंने दी नहीं। सिर्फ तृणमूल कांग्रेस के सांसद उन्होंने डिसेंट नोट दे दी। आज की मीटिंग में तो आज तो 10 मिनट में मीटिंग ख़त्म हो गई, रिपोर्ट एक्सेप्ट हुआ और मीटिंग ख़त्म हो गई। देखो, एक सही तरीके से देखेंगे तो ये बहुत बड़ा ऐतिहासिक निर्णय होगा। ये जेपीसी का निर्णय बहुत बड़ा ऐतिहासिक होगा, क्योंकि राष्ट्र के हित में, राष्ट्र की संपत्ति बचाने के लिए और गरीब मुसलमान लोगों के डेवलपमेंट के लिए ये जो वक्फ एक्ट है उसमें सुधारणा होनी चाहिए थी। आज वो बिल पे जो सुधारणा पे उस पर आज मोहर लगाई। कल हम वो बिल जो सुधारणा सहित जो हम लोगों ने कुछ 14 जगह छोटी मोटी अमेंडमेंट की है, वो बिल लोकसभा अध्यक्ष के पास हम लोग देंगे और जल्दी वो बिल संसद में मंजूरी के लिए आएगा।
सर, जिस तरह कमेटी को चलाया गया था, आर यू हैप्पी विद दैट? बिकॉज ऑपोजिशन का कहना था कि काफ़ी बायस्ड है और ये बिल इन एंटायरिटी कह रहे हैं कि मुस्लिम्स के राइट्स के अगेंस्ट जाता है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट जाता है।
देखो, ये बिल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट ही है। बिल मीन्स ये वफ़ एक्ट बिल, ये जो बिल जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट है वो चेंज करने के लिए विधेयक आया है।
As usual, in hurried manner, the draft report has been adopted in the ratio of 16-11. Last night by 9:50, we received the draft report. How chairman expected that within overnight we can give the dissent note. In spite of that, we worked something and we submitted our dissent note. Some of the people yet to submit the dissent note. I think that we know that government will not hear our dissent note. All these documents were properly, legibly and diligently filed by us, not for this JPC. It is meant for Supreme Court.
I have given my dissent note. On behalf of Trinamool Congress, both myself and Mr. Nazimul Haq, the observation and recommendation of the committee are wholly perverse. Perverse why? Number one, statements of the witnesses have not been taken into consideration. What we have said during the course of the